thing about the internet where people think that you either achieve something extraordinary, or if you fall short, if you do anything shorter from that, you did nothing. Basically, the people who are putting a lot of effort into trying to make something work, whether that is a social media account with lots of followers or an online business, they are the people who are in the middle, the people who are working so much to do this. They don't get the recognition they deserve because of this premise in the internet culture that says, that puts us in this all or nothing dilemma. So you're either extraordinary or a regular person who has done nothing. And that is a very difficult place to be.
Yes, it certainly is. And Patrick, it's really sad that probably about 90 to 95% of people who live on the internet with us, that are just common, everyday, average people trying to do something good in the world, they are really kind of pushed aside and put down and looked upon that way by some people, not all people, but by some people in the internet culture world. And what happens is what people don't realize is the amount of time and effort that goes into the good work that's going on the internet and in social media and YouTube and all the stuff that those people are doing. The people that don't have the million subscribers or the million views, or they can't say they're making $100,000 a year off of whatever they're doing in social media. And it's sad. It's really sad. And if there's no message that nobody that people take from this tonight, I want them to know that the people that are doing the work, that aren't the people who are making millions and views and subscribers, thousands and thousands upon thousands, those are the ones that are really grinding, the ones that you see often, the ones that are posting, the ones that are trying to do good in the world.
I completely agree. You did cover a lot of ground in there. The next thing that I want to say is that, and this could piss off a few people, but I think that it's the people themselves, the regular people who are there to be entertained, to receive some kind of value out of the content that is being consumed, who somehow contribute to this issue where you are either an extraordinary person with a huge channel or a huge presence, or a very profitable business, or nobody. So that is a big issue. And unfortunately, we as consumers of social media feed into that idea consistently. Even the very people who suffer from not getting the recognition that they deserve are creating and recreating this culture. Before we move forward, I want to make sure that we introduce ourselves. This special show is going to be called the Patrick and Debbie Hour. Today, we're going to talk about the toxicity of internet culture. Today's episode is called Unmasking Toxicity, a talk about confronting internet culture. There's so much to cover here, and I will introduce myself. My name is Patrick. I help YouTube creators grow their channel by creating high quality content. I'm changing my elevator pitch statement soon, but that matters not. The main thing is that I'm today here to talk about some of the horrible traits, I guess, of our interaction with the internet with other people, who maybe we often forget other people because we're behind the screen. And I also have Debbie with me. She's a very good friend and client, and she will love to introduce herself.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm Dr. Debbie Bedoui, and I am a health, wellness, and healing coach, as well as a homeschooling solutions consultant and service provider for parents who homeschool their children. And I have my own YouTube channel. As you know, I have my own business, and that's how I serve humanity. Great topic tonight.
Awesome. Your intro was so much better than mine. So great. Yeah, I am a life coach and consultant, but I don't have to show my obvious jealousy for Debbie's presentation.
No, come on, Patrick.
One moment. All right, so let's get started with this.
And by the way, my dogs are deciding that they're going to play. So if you hear a bark now and then, never fear. I'll try to mute.
Okay, thanks for checking that. They will want to have a say in this controversial topic. I want to tell a story now of a small episode, a pretty nasty one that happened in my Facebook group. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a YouTube consultant and I have my own Facebook group called YouTube Growth Workshops. And unfortunately, I often come across the very toxic traits of people. Honestly, sometimes the internet just brings out the best, the worst out of people. So this is what happened. I am a sort of unique coach because I am the person who decided to go straight into coaching and consulting before growing my own YouTube channel to the moon, right? And I think that's an advantage for me actually in a lot of ways. But I'm not gonna go into that yet. What I want to point out is that there was a person in that group who insisted in constantly pushing for answers that basically were leading towards the direction of me admitting that I'm not qualified to do the work that I do. And honestly, that is a horrendous feeling. Imagine that if you choose a profession like this, nobody becomes a YouTube coach or a consultant to make money. Honestly, something so odd, something so uncommon, something so unconventional is not a profession that a person would choose just to make money. Forget about it. So that means that, my heart, my passion is sort of on the line, maybe. So let's go back to the story. So there was this guy who I made a post saying, okay, I have a free guide that will help you save time as a YouTuber. And then the guy comes in and he goes like, has somebody gotten direct results from doing what you told them to do? Okay, that sounds super arrogant. So I have the bad habit of engaging with bullies and trying to explain myself a little bit. Don't do that. Haters.
Absolutely.
Haters will hate, one of my mentors said, and they will. It's not like they're ever going to find the best answer for them to stop bullying you. And then, as time went by, I continued dragging this situation on, even though I should have cut it from the start. And the guy once said something similar. I said something like, I made a post on my group saying, I have this opportunity for people to come join my YouTube mastermind. I have a YouTube mastermind called YouTube Full-Time Creators, which is amazing. We meet 3 times a week. We'll work on various aspects of our channel, and including content collaboration, which is one of my favorite parts. And he insisted on, what are how many views do people get out of doing what you do, what you tell them to do? What kind of results? Did you do that yourself with your channel? And then somehow that time, even though it was not a comment that seemed worse than the others, I realized to check out this guy's channel. I said, okay, who is this guy? I mean, he's really annoying. He probably is doing sort of good with his channel. So what I did was to look him up. I found his YouTube channel, and I realized that he had a channel that talked about investing. I think it was crypto in particular. Maybe there was some other types of investment. And I saw that the guy posted very often. He got like 1,000 subscribers. It's another thing that I'm going to mention in a little bit. And his videos were getting like 5 views per day. I'm not saying the same video getting 5 views every day. I'm saying that each video had less than 10 views. And then as soon as I saw that, I said, this guy is full of it. Well, I went back to, sorry. I'm sorry, Debbie, I'll just finish in 1 second. I went back to the Facebook group and I blocked the guy. So he was kicked out of the group and he has no way of interacting with me again. Debbie?
Yes. Well, Patrick, you bring up a good point. And what that's called is that's simply called, trying to create an environment of toxicity by attacking somebody, by putting them down, making them feel like they're less than you, and trying to showboat for your own purposes. And on the internet, it's very, very easy in groups and social media and all of the things that we do all the time. It's very easy to do that because you're not physically facing the person, and you can hit a button to go quiet or to go off or to close it out or whatever. Or you can just write something or say something, and then you can go hide in wherever you're hiding, in the corner of your room when you're getting 5 views per video. It's easier to hide, right? So toxic people, the reason why I believe it's so rampant on the internet is because it's simply easy, and it's not confrontational necessarily, because you're not face to face. Not saying that people don't become confrontational, but it's not face to face, so it's easier to get away with. It's easier to have control. And basically, by you blocking this person, and I encourage all people, if you have some toxicity or negativity in your field, that if you can get away from it or delete it or get around it or close it or whatever, that's what you need to do, because it's simply not worth it at all.
I would like to add that given Debbie's health background, she's very serious about getting rid of toxicities.
Absolutely.
Amazing. I wanted to ask you something off of what you were saying. And what do you think about people who are probably much nicer in the outside world, but somehow they become darker when they are in the internet?
Well, my take on that is that, I mean, let's face it, we all have a darker side, right? We all have our good and we all have our bad, and that's just how human beings are made, and we try to always bring out the good, right? Many of us, or most of us. But what happens on the internet, it's like you're behind a curtain. I go back to the hiding. It's easier. And not only that, people surrounding that are the observers that are reading through the comments or reading through the posts or listening on a live stream or whatever it may be, people know that they have an audience, and they know they have a silent audience, right? Which even feeds that more, because you don't have to, if you're the one who's being toxic or darker or whatever we want to call it, you don't have to worry about somebody else popping their head up. You're the one that's in control, and you know it. That's my take on it. Now, I mean, I'm sure there's much, much, much more to it. That's my
For sure. Yeah, the last thing I want to add on this subtopic, is that it seems to me like some people maybe are there to say more because of this anonymity factor. So they could be maybe somehow frustrated or angry in some aspect of their lives.
Yeah, but Patrick, I'm sorry, I got to say this, Patrick. But remember, there are people, no matter where we go, no matter what we do, whether it's on the internet, in life, at work, wherever we are, there are always going to be people who are negative and who are just unhappy and unwell and not nice. Mm-hmm. That's just, how it is. It just happens that on the internet, it's just easier to get away with.
I agree. Yeah, and these social media has this interesting effect where things get amplified. Mm-hmm. Bad comments that nobody would hear in real life, could, draw a lot of attention just because of the nature of social media.
Sure. And it's alive forever.
Yeah,
once it's out there, you can't take it back, right? I mean, really, even if you delete something, even if it can still be somewhere, so it lives forever.
You're absolutely right.
So yes. Another power play, right? If you want to have that out there and you want to make your point, then you did, and it's there, and nobody can do anything about it, really.
That's right. Yeah. Cool. Well, that was awesome. Very good conversation. I wanted to touch on another topic that I'm going to introduce with the story, and is this idea that you never get to see the whole message about something. I am an experienced marketer, online marketer, and I have been exposed to a lot of different things, a lot. I've literally taken, $50,000 worth of online courses and coaching programs. And one of the things that I've never really liked, even from some of the best marketers in the world, is this idea of making sensational claims, sensational statements, sensational hooks, having that big headline that makes a crazy promise for no work. And you would think sometimes that something that is too good to be true is simply fake. But sometimes there are a lot of gray areas there. And I want to give some examples that I've seen myself. When you go to YouTube and you look for a YouTube channel by some kind of marketer, and they say things like, this sales script made me millions of dollars. And then, a person who's not so knowledgeable about marketing, or who they think they are, they get hooked because they say, well, there is one script to get this crazy result, and he's probably going to share it in the video. So basically, we are drawn to this crazy belief that we can enter a video and come out of it with a plan to make millions of dollars. And that is super unrealistic. And it's not a matter of being pessimistic. It's a matter of saying, well, there's a lot more going on behind that. And I know a few people who are against this kind of marketing because they say that building an internet business is way more complicated than that. And people say things, even millionaires, marketers who are doing amazingly well, who understand human psychology really well, they're lying to themselves and to other people, even the good ones, even those who are good people. And they say, this script helped me make $1 million. This email sequence helped me make $1 million. This video formula helped me make $1 million. And then when you see each one of them, if you have a critical eye about it, you're going to know that that's BS. But if you don't, you're going to buy into that. And if you are the kind of person like me who's gone through a ton of coaching programs and marketing programs and are it's frustrated about it, you're going to see it super different. The point of view that I want to bring into the table is that they say one video, $1 million, one script, $1 million. All of those things put together get you to the goal. And not even, because that takes a lot of work, studying your audience, testing offers, having a mindset of failing and keep going. Like there's a lot into it. And it is true that some people make it they're much faster than others, but that doesn't mean that they have the magic roadmap. It means that each of us has a journey. And for some of us, we could, find the one thing that was the perfect fit for who we are and the situation we were in, and then things blow up quickly. That's honestly almost one in a billion, really. Like it's very rare. Unfortunately for the internet, we think that we have one of the toxic traits of internet culture is extremes. So you see a guy who's saying, you see a 19-year-old bragging about how rich he is, and you go like, wow, if a dumb kid like he can do it, I can do it. But that's not how it works at all. And the last point I want to bring before I let Debbie in is that you should never beat yourself up because you're not as far in your journey as you would like to be. Things are different. You are different for a lot of reasons. One is that, and this is my case probably, you want to make it, like be successful, have clients, help a lot of people, make a lot of money in your own terms. But I want to do it from work that I'm passionate about. I want to do it with integrity, so promising what I can actually deliver. And that is probably a slow path, but that doesn't mean you're not making progress. And some of the people just go like, you know what, I don't care about coaching or YouTube videos or personal development. I just want to make money fast. There's no problem with that attitude. It just means that you're probably going to get ahead sooner than other people, but it's not even always the case. So I just wanted to remember that. Never beat yourself up.
Well, good point, Patrick. But I wanna challenge you on one thing. And
Yes.
I disagree on one point, but I don't know if you can clarify if you didn't mean it the way that I understood it.
Sure.
People who focus on money and that's their drive, you know, I mean, obviously, if we want to be realistic, there are people in the world, probably who have done this, right? They've made money and their focus is money and they've done this. However, for most, most of the most successful people in business that I know, I'm talking like Bill Gates's, Steve Jobs's, the big people, Elon Musk, all of them. If they focused on making money, they would not be the billionaires or millionaires that they are today. And anybody who's worth 2 cents in coaching, business, YouTubing, whatever you do, if they have to say at some point, stop focusing on money, i.e. for YouTube, stop focusing on subscribers, stop focusing on all of these superficial numbers kinds of things, because that's not going to get you to where you want to be. What's going to get you where you want to be is the value that you provide others, the people that you are supposed to be serving and helping and guiding and giving value to. And what I have found is once you start focusing on people, then that toxic piece of, you can be a millionaire overnight, marketing and all of this stuff, it goes to the wayside and you can recognize it a lot faster and a lot more easily because they all sound the same way. That type of toxicity where, promises are made that are not going to be kept, that can't be kept, it becomes easy to recognize when your focus is on people and not what you yourself are going to get out of it, meaning money in most cases. Listen, I do business. I want to make money because I need to make a living and I need to make money. But that is not my focus. That's not my purpose. That's not, I don't spend 20 hours a day out of the 24. And that's literally sometimes how it is, doing everything that I do, building relationships and all the things that I do because I'm going to make, $100 off of something or 500 or 5,000 or whatever it is. Because at the end of the day, really, if you add up all of the time, the dollar amount's never going to equal what you're actually worth and the time and work and effort that you put in at all. And all the no's that you had to hear before you got to the yes. So it's really, what really saddens me about this topic in particular, about the broken promises, is when this happens on the internet and why it's such a deadly form of toxicity for many people is because you're crushing the hopes and dreams of just common people that are working hard to try to do something good. And if you become a part of that, what does that say about you, whomever you may be? That says to me that you need to work on you. Stop worrying about making money and work on you. And then maybe you can actually do something good for other people and then make a boatload of money doing it. I mean, really, seriously, right?
No, you brought up a lot of great points there. I'm very pleased that I let you lead on with that. And I completely agree. I think there is a big problem with people wanting money no matter what. I sort of understand. There is desperation. There is bad jobs out there. There's economic hardship. People who need to pay their debt. People who need to pay for medical bills. People who have a family member who's sick. I do understand it. But the bottom line is that there should be ethics should come first, and I think you made a couple of great observations in terms of giving value and caring about people. maybe to reconcile both views, where we talk about the people who chase the money and the people who chase what really matters, is that going straight to the money could bring you some short-term gains. Working on people, giving value, building relationships, being honest about the work that you do, that will bring you the biggest payoff, even if it's not immediate.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I wanted to share another story that is a little bit personal. Okay, this one is a little bit personal. Honestly, I had a low point in the first half of this year, where I didn't quite realize that there was a big problem with me. I was not believing in myself. I was not believing in the services that I was given, and I was not confident that I could build a solid business out of my dream. And the biggest reason for that was that I was comparing myself with others, that I was listening to what the bad people were saying. And the last part is that, what was the last part? Yeah, I had something good to say there. So the last part is that I was not aware that I fell into these powerful marketing tactics that are being used on common people every day. This is what I'm about to say is the biggest takeaway that some of the people that are in my audience, YouTube creators, entrepreneurs, that they could hear. And that is that all the psychology of the masses that you learn, all these marketing tricks, should not be used to trick you. Let me go deeper into that. Every good marketing course is going to teach you social proof. So social proof, to put it in very short terms, means that there are other people out there who can say that your product is great. And that is through testimonials, for example. That is through results. So people who used your product and service and got good results out of it. And then you have social proof, you have authority. Authority means, well, I made a video who got 1 million views in the first 5 days. So that means I'm qualified to teach you how to go viral on social media. And that is the kind of stuff that we know are effective persuasion strategies. But if you are an influencer or want to be, and you have a social media channel, you are an entrepreneur online, you cannot fall for the same things that you're using on other people. In other words, when you look beyond the promises and the bold claims, you realize that not all of that is quite true. For example, if a person says that I could teach you how to go viral because I have a viral video, that's not really proof of anything, really, because the people you're trying to influence are not like you. They are not in the same circumstances. They are not making the same type of content. They don't have your experience. So there are too many gaps that we don't want to see. But somehow, because that's how psychology of the masses work, people follow through. They believe that. If you were to step back and say, well, that's not the whole story, you would not be so gullible like that. And the same works for other social proof, like, oh, this person got these results. And I want you to know this because it's the total truth about how much people fail using services. And that is, I belong to into an internet coaches mastermind called the Coach's Secret. I should not say the name, maybe, but that's apparently one of the best courses for business coaches in the world. They got awards, they got recognition, they got like everything in place. Apparently it's better than, even though the influencer is not super well known, he has shown to help more people than almost anybody else. Even so, of all his clients, probably his promise is, I'll take you to 6 figures or 7 figures a year as an internet coach. The people who have got into the mastermind and reached that goal is 25%. I'm telling you, one of the best courses in the world has a 25% success rate. So what does this tell us about the bigger landscape of products and services that tell you that they can change your life just from getting into the program and doing the work? Well, most of them are terrible. Reason number one size fits all solutions. We are all very different, and we could have our own struggles, some of those problems that we never talk about. Then the second problem is lack of support. So you get a course, and then you have to do everything by yourself. You could get stuck, you could not understand something, you could have a problem that the course didn't acknowledge is there. But then if you fail, it's just your fault. You bought it, but you didn't do the work, so it's your fault. I have peace of mind, and you failed. And there are so many things like that. And that's when you go through the journey like I did, where I was 4 years, roughly 4 years, getting in and out of courses, where people said, oh, I made my first sale getting into the course. I didn't. I made my first $10,000 in this course. I didn't. I became a millionaire taking this course. I didn't. And then you just feel like every one of those failures is a hit to your self-confidence. And that sucks. And you think that you're the one person who's doing it all wrong. But then when you get more information and you interact with more people, you begin to realize that the overwhelming majority of people are like you. And that is some of the stuff that I was going through earlier this year. And I'm very confident now that I'm getting out of it. So I'm not a superhero. I just want you to know that I don't feel bad about myself.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that because, Patrick, when you talked about the 25% success rate of one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, coaching mastermind that you experienced or are a part of, it's what people tend to forget is that there, and you alluded to it, I believe, is the other variables, and the biggest variable is you, right? You, like each one of us, you said it yourself, we're all unique. We all have our issues. We all have our situations. We all have our own variables. And then we put them in with other variables, and, who knows what's going to happen, right? So there's a lot of variables that influence that success rate. And also, you also said prior, I believe, about each of us are on our own journeys. And our own journeys are working toward different things. So some of us take longer on some things, some of us don't take as long on other things. And that is just a reality. What's sad to me, and what I try to help people with when I coach them, in my practitioner stuff with health, wellness, and healing, is help them to realize, trust the process, work through the journey, and trust that process and complete it, because most people quit. And the only way you can truly fail at anything is if you quit. That's the only way. Other than that, it's not. And my second point, and this is my educator background coming out, but and I don't remember who this quote is by, but it's a quote by somebody important in history. Something to the effect of a true education is when you learn how to learn. That's a true education. And that's so true, because you can't have a checklist and just checklist off all of the stuff, even though it's helpful when you do know all of the stuff and you have a checklist. But if you're just given a checklist and told to do 1, 2, 3, 4 to make $10,000 or $1 million or whatever it is, that's not going to do anything for you, because you haven't learned what you need to learn to even understand why that checklist is so important, or the components, or the how-tos, or whatever it is. You haven't, you don't have the foundation, or you don't, and you know, I'm living proof of that. I mean, I proudly say I'm 57 years old. Okay, I survived this long, I'm good. But you know, what's, I mean, the internet, I mean, my generation, many people don't even like it. They don't like the social media and this, all of this stuff. And they certainly aren't necessarily trying to make a business and do what I'm trying to do, and YouTubing and all of that. And so I didn't know anything. My first person I ever had help me with Instagram, I need to go back and find him and tell him how sorry I am, because because it was, I must have frustrated him to no end, because I knew nothing about making a reel. I didn't even know what a reel was. I didn't know anything. Well, if I think I'm just going to take a script or a checklist about a reel, I don't even know where to start, because I don't have the foundational things. But if you're somebody who knows how to learn and can learn anything, and you're willing to put in the time and effort and stay the course and trust the process, then you will achieve whatever it is. Maybe not on your timeline, maybe not as fast as you want it to be, but you will achieve it in the end, as long as you don't fail.
That's it. You sticking to it, sticking to the plan no matter what, is a big thing too. I can speak a lot about that. We can leave that for another day. But you either quit, you know, and are done with it, and then, you know, that's how you end up in the larger amount of the percentage of people who don't make it. And then you are that kind of person where you tend to try a lot of things within your vision, but you're not sticking to anything long term. So you do something for a month, and then you don't see it working, and you find something new, and then you go there, then you make another shift, and then another shift, and another shift, and it looks like you're sticking to the goal. It looks like you're not giving up, but at the same time, you can't make progress like that.
Well, if you look at all those toxic people that we were mentioning, I bet you a large majority of them are doing exactly that. They're hopping around different groups and different areas and different things and trying to figure out things. And along their way, their frustration, their whatever it is that drives them, that it comes out in a toxic way. So a point I want to make to what I just said and what you just said, a really important point back to toxicity. Make sure, don't let toxic people derail you on your journey ever, in anything, whether it's the internet or whatever it is. But particularly on the internet, since that's the topic tonight, like just don't even allow it. There's a button that says block. Hit it.
Yes.
When it comes to toxicity. That's it. That's my
yes.
biggest message.
We have that power. Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. Awesome. The next thing that I wanted to address was this problem of people who, how can I explain it? The people who hate, yes, but those who tend to remember some examples that I came across. And that is when people celebrate. Maybe there's some kind of sub niche of a community where people celebrate. People enjoy trashing other people. That's what I'm trying to say. I want to give some examples from, again, personal experience. Honestly, sometimes I feel like not going into certain Facebook groups, even though that's where my audience is supposed to be. I mentioned earlier, I help YouTube creators, but sometimes I find very frustrating talking to YouTubers because they are so immersed in many of these toxic traits of internet culture we were talking about. And one of the things that happens a lot is that there are many YouTube creators who, especially the very small ones, who are openly against coaching, openly against services that will help them further in their journey. And the reason why, there is a good justification, actually. The one, and that is because there are people who know nothing about YouTube and they try to offer services to help people grow their channels. So what does that mean? Well, that's not knowing anything. Not knowing anything doesn't mean that you don't have your own huge following. It means that you're actually not knowledgeable on the topic that you supposedly help people with. In this specific niche, the biggest example is SEO services. So SEO, for those who don't know, or for those who repeat it without ever understanding what that stands for, is search engine optimization. What I find funnier, on a side note, is that some people say SEO optimization. So you're repeating the word twice. Anyway, so how that works is that supposedly this expert knows a lot about putting the best keywords and tags and hashtags and to make your videos rank in search. And then supposedly that gets you more exposure, which can translate into more views and more subscribers. That's basically the whole premise. The problem is that SEO doesn't work like that. First of all, if you have a channel that is focused on entertainment for the most part, SEO helps you very little. That's the first thing. Because the S of SEO means search, and people don't search for that video where a guy surprised his girlfriend with a giant teddy bear. People don't look for that stuff. That's purely entertaining content, and people don't look for that. People are interrupted by that. There's a term called interruption marketing, which means that you go to the internet and then you receive something, a hook, a message that you could be interested in, but you were not looking for. But anyway, I'm going off topic a little bit. So one reason small YouTubers hate experts is because they're thinking about that kind of service. That kind of service has bad reputation for a good reason. People buy and they don't get any result. They make it look like it's a machine. You put money into it and views come out the other side. But that doesn't work because YouTube is too smart for that. Then we have the people who know nothing about YouTube, but they go the viral hit or two even. And they go like, oh, you know what? This gives me the credibility to say whatever I want about YouTube and people will listen to it. And that's, again, back to the last point I made, psychology of the masses. If you are an influencer, or even if you want to be just a smart consumer, don't fall for that. Having a result yesterday doesn't give you the right doesn't make you qualified to teach something the next day. That's definitely not how it works. And that honestly brings me to a much bigger topic. I hope we have time for that. So, but yeah, let's go back to the hate. People, in this case, the small YouTubers, they are almost addicted to hating experts, to hating people who sell YouTube services, to hate any sort of expert. And that is accompanied by another very limited belief, which is the consistency myth. So if you just work at it and never stop posting videos, you will make it. That's also false. But people do things like that. They make a post, somebody makes a post saying, I have this kind of service. And then they get a lot of hate. Who are you? What makes you qualified to do that? Where is your channel? Where are your metrics? You shouldn't be saying this. People, good and bad, they get totally on board about trashing that person. In that, honestly, I think it's incorrect, because even if they are right, why would you just simply restrict somebody's freedom? Maybe I'm going overboard with this, but it is somebody's freedom of expression. They post that. They could be real scammers, which you're going to find out eventually. Hopefully, not putting money into that. But if not, I mean, I'd like to think that when I post something, and this has happened to me, the people with good intent are going to see through that and say, I don't know if he's good, but I know he's honest. Honestly, that is something that if you want to see it in a post, you will see it. And then, why so much hate? Do you enjoy that? Do you feel better about yourself afterward? Like, what is the benefit of getting so hurtful about, your nasty comments?
I think, Patrick, there's a certain amount of skepticism, but by most of us, right? We're a little skeptical of things. Some people are a little bit more intense with their skepticism. But also, I think this whole thing about experts and coaches in the YouTube community, or YouTubers community, the tendency to not like coaches or coaching or paid services. It's a fallacy, because it's you can't get better at anything. You can't get better at yourself. You can't get better at YouTubing. You can't get better at surfing. You can't get better at anything unless you not only ingest yourself all of the information you possibly can, good information, right? Meaning you read, you research, you do whatever you do on your own. And then when you get to a certain point, you have to get somebody you have to talk to people who know more than you know about whatever the subject is. And this goes for everything. So you go to that person. Well, if you really want to then level up again and again and again and again, you're going to have to, it's impossible to do that and not be working with somebody who has a skill set that you don't have yet. So it doesn't make sense to me, and it kind of it's very mind-boggling to me that you want to do business, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to make money off of YouTube. That makes you an entrepreneur. You want to make money off of YouTube. You want to be a YouTuber. You want to do good videos. You want to do all the editing. You want to do all of these things, and then you don't want to do the one thing or any other things that you need to do to get better and get you where you want to go, because you have to put $1 on it. Well, guess what? One of my coaches long ago said to me, and I've never forgotten it, I don't care if you put 50 cents, I don't care if you put 1 penny, I don't care what, you have to put something on whatever it is you need. You have to pay something for it in order for it to be meaningful to you. If you don't put money on it, whether it's a penny or $1 million, if you don't put a thing on it, then you're not going to take the time to carry through. You're going to do it for a month and leave it go to the wayside. You're not going to take it seriously. It's not going to be meaningful to you. So that's my take on that.
I agree that when you don't invest anything into it, how much can you expect? How much can you expect from the service that you're getting? how much can you expect from your own commitment, right? I mean, you may not ever show up. In fact, that reminds me of a small story. It's not even a story, just let me wrap it up in one sentence. And that is that I'm very much into singing. I did take a course a while ago. I sing well, by the way. And a couple of years ago, I received an email from this music coach. I mean, obviously, if I'm doing this internet culture conversation, you might guess that I get that a lot of my life happens in the internet. And I also did music coaching online. And one day I got an email from this lady who's amazing at what she did. And she was giving a course away for free. I said, wow, this is freaking awesome. I signed up to the course. All I had to do was input my email and create a login. The course, and this was not a lie or an exaggeration. The course was worth $1,000. It's not something that some marketers make up numbers and then drop it to make it look like a steal. But this was a real course that I knew existed, and it was $1,000, and I got it for free. And I watched the first week. I was so excited. I watched the videos, I did the assignments and all that. And then the second week, I was delayed a little bit, didn't really stick to it much. And within a month, maybe, I was already not doing anything about it. So
happens to all of us. It happens to all of us.
Indeed, right? What would I have done if I had paid $1,000? I would have taken it seriously, like Debbie was saying. And the last topic I wanted to address, hopefully we cover it within the hour that we have, is about how much you put into something and how much you get out. And the problem in terms of internet culture is that the crazy part about the internet is that we get a crazy lot for free.
Mm-hmm.
You can get information, you can get online tools, you can find discounts for stuff, you can find endless entertainment. You don't even need cable these days. And if you're wanting to go really frugal about your entertainment, you could only have YouTube, nothing more. Meaning you can have free unlimited entertainment. That's the world we live in. And the problem, the counterpart of this, immense benefit. And honestly, I think it makes our society more democratic too. The fact that people who don't have that much resources can actually access so much information for free and entertainment. The problem is that has an effect on people where they expect to get a lot for so little. They say, even if you don't think of it consciously, every time you see an offer where they're saying, okay, get this in exchange for money, which shouldn't be anything weird, you think, like I said, unconsciously, you think, I'm getting all of this for free. Why would I pay for that? It would have to be extremely good, extremely unique, exclusive, life-changing, whatever that is, for you to really want to, pull out your wallet and get that, right? And what people don't realize, those people who are into reaching an ambitious goal, like starting and growing a business or exploding their social media account, what they don't realize is that the kind of result that they're looking is crazy big. Does that mean it's too big, you should not pursue it? No. It's great to have a big goal. The problem is that how can you expect to get here without putting $1 down?
Exactly. It's exactly. And that, to tie it back to our topic, I mean, we talked a lot at the beginning about toxicity of other people, but this is a form of toxic thinking that we do ourselves to ourselves, and we trick ourselves. And if we do it in one area of our lives, then we for sure do it in other areas of our lives. And then sometimes we sit on the sidelines and say, why isn't this working? Why isn't this whatever? And we're dumbfounded when in actuality, it's us and our toxic mindset sometimes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, very well put. Yeah, that was a big topic too that I wanted to cover. We could definitely do that in another time. And for those who are reviewing us, this Patrick and Debbie hour will happen again. We don't have all the details about when or what will happen, but I think this conversation was very, very meaningful. And honestly, if you take this seriously, you don't have to pay, but if you take these conversations seriously, you will probably make one important change about the way you think and the way you see things online that could transform your life. Hopefully, all our viewers have gotten insane value from this conversation, and I hope Debbie had a good time.
I did. I appreciate collaborating, Patrick, and I appreciate all of our viewers. So sending peace and light to all.
Thank you so much. I will see you all next time. We'll probably announce when the next episode comes out, but it was a great pleasure to talk about this. Also, letting some stuff out of my chest. I hope you didn't mind that. Yeah. All right. So stay tuned and take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Check out important links in the description. Thank you for watching. Peace and light, Dr. Debbie.